Who's ready for some Bepro, PDEX, and POLK analysis? Raise your hand quietly, or you can just yell at the screen. Let's jump into it. Before we get started, smash that like, punch it in the face, flip it off, at least give it a tap, and leave me a quick comment, emoji, thumbs up, whatever you want to do to help out the algo new viewers. My channel essentially helps you understand a little bit more about what you're doing in application when you click around with your money, as opposed to making decisions off of fundamentals and news-based type of information out there on YouTube. And I cover a lot of altcoins with an overall Bitcoin analysis, separate my videos. So if that sounds good, you can go ahead and check out what I do for my Patreon and Discord community down in the links below. Let's jump into it. Let's start off with Bepro. So Bepro, I'm going to take off all EMAs. I will stay on the short-term time frame because I already did a long-term time frame yesterday, showing you a pretty bullish case for Bepro. But as of right now, Bepro still is just chilling and bouncing on its 1 hour 200 EMA. It's that simple. It will work until it doesn't work, and right now it is still happening. So the structure that it looks like it's happening now, it looks like it wants to flag out a little bit and ride this 1 hour 200 before a bigger pop. So I would imagine its next pop goes at roughly halfway. It might actually stop right here before a quick 15% correction. That would be my guess. That would put it at about 1.44 cents, something to that effect, given that it has gone sideways a little bit more before just going straight up. Now, had it bounced off here and gone higher than this high, I would imagine that it would have tapped out at this line here. But now that it's gone sideways longer, I think its next little push could bring it up to 1.4 cents. And let's make sure nothing else on the daily or the weekly is getting finagly, which would change my analysis. So let's see here. How many tests of the 10 do we have? Looks good. Honestly, the daily chart, on a daily scale, trading less often, it looks like the next push is going to be up the top of this box, actually. However, there might be, tradable events on shorter timeframes, just depending on your tolerance and how much time you spend on charts. There probably is a trade in the middle there somewhere. But on a daily chart, if you don't like to piss around with buying and selling more than a couple times a month, which for a decent size of my personal portfolio, that's how I roll. And a really large chunk of my portfolio, I only try to look to make, 3 buy and sells per coin per bull run. So just depending on how much you're trading Bepro here, this is the frequency. This next push, given that you have such nice consolidation on the daily 10, it can give a push up here. Now, word of warning though, a lot of times it is pretty common after a move below the daily 200 and you move up this fast, you can come back down to check it. So I want to give that word of warning. And there are a lot of coins out there doing just that. So just look at this red line here. So red line came way below on most coins. Okay. And most altcoins had a big pump. However, since that big pump, overcorrected, and a lot of coins are stuck right here right now, or some coins have gone above and come back below. So kind of essentially oscillating, it's red. So see how this is a big distance away, red from orange? Well, this is also a big distance away. This is a smaller distance away. Now it might just need to come recheck it and do a skim play. So Bepro could come back down to 0.0083. I want to let you know. And so if there were a breakdown, that would be what the EMAs on a daily scale are trying to do. However, right now on a 1 hour chart, it looks like it's going to continue bouncing on its 1 hour 200 EMA. And once you see it come below and get stuck, then you're going to want to flip to the daily chart and start targeting that daily 200 down below at the level I told you, 0.0083, something to that effect. But that hasn't happened yet. It doesn't look like it's going to happen. However, a breakdown, that is what I think it would look like if it were to happen. So that's what we got for Bepro. So Polk. Actually, let's go to PDEX. PDEX is having a nice move right now. So PDEX was in a nice range for quite a while. Used this as support, broke through support. I don't know if this had to do, I don't know. I don't know what this had to do with. If the coins were released kind of like Mover or whatever, but it broke out of a very steady range. When the market is not bearish, This was a little confusing to me. This caught me off guard. I did pick up a little bit more PDEX here. Obviously, right now I'm in profit, but I was at a loss for a while, and I'm essentially trading. I'm personally trying to just 20 bag, just take a tiny bit of profits to buy back a little bit lower, 20 bag around the top of this range. So it looks like what I imagine is going to happen with PDEX is it's probably going to come to the middle of the range. So I'll make a line here. I'll make it a dashed line. And it probably will do one of two things. It'll either wick right at it, come back, consolidate, come to somewhere between the top and middle line, consolidate on top, and then work its way up. That's one idea. I doubt that it'll go straight up to the line. So, but with Polkadot moving the way it is, so Polkadot's having a big day, right? And PDEX is a part of the Polkasphere. So Polkadot could make PDEX come all the way up here, straight up, and then come back down. Typically, this would not be very probable, but with Polkadot, the big daddy of the ecosphere, doing what it's doing, PDEX could go straight up to the top of this range. But if Polkadot were not doing that, that would not be the most probable situation. But right now, it might be sitting at number 2, going straight to the top of the range. So I would say most probable, likely wick pass, come back down, rest, chill out, and then maybe touch it. Or come here, rest, go halfway, and then use this dotted line as support and then touch. So those would be my three most probable scenarios for PDEX. But either way, it looks like it's going to make it to the top of this range by the end of October, and perhaps more than one time to sell and buy lower before the breakout, perhaps in November. So in general terms, I would be looking for October. A close above this line on a monthly would be really good. So let's look at the monthly. I don't know if there's much price history here, but what would be really good for PDEX is if right at the end of the month, if you can get a closure here, okay, it would really be able to fly with Polkadot, because Polkadot is looking to do something similar structurally. And I already made a video on Polkadot, 𝘃𝐻𝑒𝐾, and 𝑘𝐻𝑒𝐿 if you want to check that out, because Polkadot might be leading PDEX and Polk. So let's go to Polk right now. On a monthly scale, Polk is also trying to do something similar. It's trying to close above a 3-monthly range. So if Polk can close above the previous 2-month candles at 57.57, November could be a nice glorious month for it. So it really kind of seems like a lot of these altcoins are indicating that there might be a race up here at the end of October, because there are a lot of monthly closures that are saying, hey, I need to close up here. So I don't know, the altcoin market might make some pretty good gains on Bitcoin here, because the monthly charts are all looking fairly similar. So let's jump down to the daily chart on Polk, see what's happening here. Honestly, you have that's probably right in the 1 hour 200 EMA as well, right? A lot of altcoins are right in the 1 hour 200, just bouncing. Let's see here. So yeah, you're getting your your second bounce on the just below the 1 hour 200 EMA. So this is its first time coming above, bouncing. It did come below. So I would imagine Polk will do one of two things in the very short term throughout the next 3 to 4 days. I would say it might what I might call just like flag out here and essentially ride its 1 hour 200 EMA without a big bounce up like Bepro's been doing. So Bepro's been doing this, right? But right now, Bepro, after having done this a few times, it looks like it needs to go sideways right before a push up. So it almost looks like, because the top of the range is here, I would say one of two things could happen in the next 3 days. With Polkadot skyrocketing, you could get that big bounce up. And if that were to happen, if Polk were to touch the top of the range, I mean, it's going to have to correct, and that would be, not a bad time to 10 bag, 20 bag, whatever you're into there for Polk. But I would say more likely, because it's getting so close to the top of the range, I bet it tries to do equal highs for a bit, bounce, get a series of higher lows without higher highs. And then within about, maybe 4 or 5 days, then make its approach up to this line. That is how I would see it moving. But then again, remember, Polkadot is screaming right now. So that could, pull up a lot of the coins within the Polkasphere up, way past targets. So with that in mind, I guess, my second most probable is it could go straight to the top of the range only because of Polkadot's movement. This typically would not, that type of price action right here straight to the top, typically would not be within my top two likely scenarios, but Polkadot screaming, so that would be my second most likely. Now let's see if there is going, is there a threat of a breakdown? You don't really have a lot of the larger EMAs here because it's a younger asset. Let's see, you don't have a daily 200. What about a 4? It's already at the 4-hour 200. Honestly, this looks like it's put in its time. I don't see much threat of downside breaking past, with Bitcoin as strong as it is. Even if Bitcoin came back down to, 52K, I bet Polk would stay within its range. This looks extremely constructive. This is a strong structure. And once things do blast off and altcoins start making gains on Bitcoin, I think Polk is really poised to do it's got a good base, folks. I'm not going to lie. This is a really, really nice base. It kind of looks like how Trias is forming too. So there are a few coins out there that have this a big drop, come up just, a decent amount, and then just range for an incredible amount of time and create an extremely strong base. Hydra is another one. So there are a lot of charts out there that look like this, even though this is not a Trias video, but just stare at here. Just stare. Let me zoom in and stare at this chart here. Look at this, okay? And actually look at it like that. So look at it like that. So big drop, come up just a little bit, and then range out. Now watch. See if I can find this fast enough for you. Same deal. Big drop, come up just a little bit, range out. Nice, tight range, solid base. They're both in the same exact posturing on a life cycle scale because they're both about the same age. And really, the Polk and the Trias chart are looking. I mean, structurally, they're almost identical. Although Trias is a little postured, a little stronger. It looks like it's going to break out before Polk, but their general posturing is almost identical. There's another coin out there, Hydra, that has ridiculous staking, and I do own Hydra. I am staking that, but it's like, look, it's got the same type of thing. Big drop. It didn't come up and make some, nasty higher high kind of, or almost higher high, rivaling its highest high, kind of like Ethereum has done and Bitcoin has done, but rather came up just a little bit, range out, create an extremely strong base, and Trias and Hydra are both flirting with that breakout point. And Polk has yet to flirt with that breakout point, but so on a short-term time frame, Trias and Hydra have come up here, landed. So that's probably, so the reason why I'm saying that is has a decent probability of what's going to happen. So what could happen here is Polk comes straight up for my second most probable without like one more bounce, comes straight up, consolidates just under here, and then poises itself for a breakout for late October, earlier November. So it might be just like a week behind Trias. So for example, if you like Polk, if you see a Trias breakout, you could say, oh wait, Polk is probably next. It might be about a week behind. That's kind of how I would mentally manage my time frame expectations with these assets. So if you are new here and you like what you saw and you felt like you have a better understanding of price action, how it might move here moving forward, go ahead and hit subscribe, hit the bell so you can get alerts when I make these pretty frequent videos across altcoins, and feel free to check out the links in the description section about the information I provide to my Patreon and Discord community. And y'all just got Timified. We'll see you next time.